Good morning / afternoon / evening, everyone. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a choice that truly benefited you? Not your friends, not your family, not society, but you. Because let's be real, most of us spend too much time choosing what's safe, what's expected, or what makes other people comfortable. But let me tell you, if you keep settling for crumbs, don't get mad when you never get a full meal. Life will only give you what you're willing to accept. Too often people shrink themselves to fit into spaces they've outgrown. They take less because they think that's all they deserve or because they're afraid to ask for more. But let me tell you something. If you don't know your worth, the world will price you at a discount. You ever walked into a high-end store and noticed they never have sales? They don't do discounts because they know their value. They don't try to convince you that they're worth it. You either see it or you don't. But meanwhile, there are other stores that slap a big 70% off sign in the window every other weekend. Why? Because they know if they don't, people won't buy what they're selling. Now ask yourself, are you walking around like that expensive brand, or are you constantly putting yourself on sale just to be chosen? The truth is, when you settle for less than you deserve, you send a message to the world that it's okay to treat you that way. If you accept being underpaid, overlooked, or undervalued, guess what? That's exactly what you keep getting. You can't walk into a car dealership expecting to drive off in a luxury car while paying economy prices. Value comes at a cost, and if you don't demand the best for yourself, no one is going to just hand it to you. But knowing your worth isn't just about demanding more from other people. It's about believing it yourself. It's about walking with confidence, even when life tries to convince you otherwise. It's about refusing to let past mistakes, failures, or other people's opinions define what you're capable of. Because let's be real, everybody's got an opinion, but none of them pay your bills or live your life. So why are you letting them decide what you deserve? It all starts with you. You've got to believe in yourself first. You've got to recognize that you have something valuable to offer, whether it's your talent, your skills, your personality, or your dreams. And once you realize that, you stop tolerating anything that doesn't align with your worth. You stop saying yes to things that drain you. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop feeling guilty for outgrowing people, places, and situations that no longer serve you. And here's the secret. When you start treating yourself like you're valuable, the world follows suit. Opportunities show up. The right people come into your life. The doors you once thought were locked suddenly open. But none of that happens until you make the decision to stop settling, until you start saying, I deserve better, and not just saying it, but believing it, acting on it, and refusing to accept anything less. You ever see a lion asking a sheep for permission to roar? No? Exactly. So why are you waiting for approval to go after what you want? Too many people are living their lives like they're waiting in line for permission, waiting for someone to say, yeah, that's a good idea, or you're good enough to do that. But let me tell you something. If you keep waiting for approval, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, most people don't even know what's best for themselves, let alone for you. They're out here struggling with their own doubts, their own fears, and their own insecurities. And you're over here putting your dreams on hold, waiting for them to validate you. Let me make this real simple. They don't have the answers. They don't know your vision. They don't see your potential. And even if they did, half of them wouldn't admit it because your growth makes them uncomfortable. You ever notice how the moment you start doing something different, something bigger, something better, people start acting funny? That's because your ambition is a mirror. It forces them to look at themselves and ask, why haven't I done that? And instead of facing that truth, they'd rather keep you where they're comfortable. That's why they'll hit you with doubt. Are you sure that's a good idea? Or that seems risky, but let's be honest. If they haven't done it, how would they know? You can't take advice from someone who's never been where you're trying to go. And let's not even start with social media. Too many people are addicted to likes, shares, and validation from strangers they'll never meet. They post something and refresh the page every 2 seconds, waiting for approval like it's oxygen. But here's the thing, approval is a moving target. One minute people love you, the next minute they've moved on to something else. If you're basing your confidence on their reaction, you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of insecurity. At some point, you've got to trust yourself. You've got to make a decision and stand on it, even if nobody claps for you, even if nobody gets it, even if people laugh, doubt, or walk away. Because this is your life, and at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with the choices you make, not them. Think about it. How many great ideas, dreams, and opportunities have you let slip by because you were worried about what people would think? How many times have you shrunk yourself, stayed quiet, or played it safe just to avoid judgment? And for what? So that people who don't even contribute to your happiness can feel comfortable. It's time to stop living for approval and start living for you, because the moment you stop caring about what they think, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop waiting for permission, you start walking in your purpose. And the moment you finally choose yourself, the world has no choice but to adjust. You cannot soar with eagles if you're hanging with pigeons. That's the truth. Growth and comfort do not live in the same house. If you want to elevate your life, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. But most people don't want that. They want success, but they also want it to be easy. They want change, but they don't want to put in the work. They want to win, but they don't want to leave the place that's holding them back. And that right there is the problem. You cannot grow if you refuse to move. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a tree growing in a flower pot? No, because at some point, it either has to be replanted in a bigger space or it will stop growing altogether. That's exactly how life works. Some of you are out here trying to grow in an environment that's too small for you. You're stuck in the same routines, the same mindset, the same habits, the same people. And you're wondering why you feel stagnant. You can't expect new results while living in old conditions. And let's be real, growth is scary, because the moment you decide to grow, you have to face things you've been avoiding. You have to confront your fears, your weaknesses, and your excuses. You have to put yourself in situations where you're not the smartest person in the room. You have to be willing to look like a beginner again, to fail, to be uncomfortable. That's the price of growth, and a lot of people aren't willing to pay it. That's why so many people choose comfort instead. Comfort is safe. Comfort doesn't challenge you. Comfort doesn't make you question yourself, but comfort also doesn't make you better. It just keeps you there in the same place, living the same life year after year, wondering why nothing changes. You weren't meant to live like that. You weren't put on this earth to play it safe and stay the same. You were built to evolve. And here's the thing, growth doesn't just happen by accident. You have to choose it over and over again. You have to be intentional. You have to wake up every day and decide, I am going to push myself. I am going to do better. I am going to step outside of what feels easy. You have to put yourself in rooms where you feel small so you can learn. You have to take risks. Even when you're scared, you have to chase opportunities even when you don't feel ready. You think the people who made it to the top were always confident? No, they just didn't let fear stop them. They felt the fear and did it anyway. They bet on themselves even when nobody else did. They chose to grow even when it was uncomfortable. And that's what you have to do. So ask yourself, are you holding yourself back because it's easier to stay where you are? Are you playing it safe because growth seems too hard? Because if you are, just know this, the pain of staying the same is far worse than the pain of growth. One will leave you stuck, the other will take you exactly where you're meant to be. The choice is yours. Look around you. The people in your life, are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they inspiring you to be better or are they keeping you stuck? Because here's the truth, your environment shapes you whether you like it or not. You cannot expect to grow, succeed, and elevate if the people around you are comfortable being average. Think about it like this. If you put a shark in a small tank, it won't grow beyond a certain size. Not because it lacks potential, but because its environment limits it. Some of you are in tanks too small for you. You've got dreams, ambition, and a vision for your life, but you're surrounded by people who don't think big. People who tell you to be realistic. People who make fun of your goals because they don't have the courage to chase theirs. And if you're not careful, their mindset will become your mindset. Because let's be honest, energy is contagious. If you're around 5 lazy people, guess what? You'll be the sixth. If you're around 5 negative people who complain all day, soon enough you'll find yourself complaining too. But if you're around 5 motivated, driven, success-minded people, you'll naturally start leveling up, not because they force you to, but because their presence makes it impossible not to. That's why you've got to upgrade your circle. You need to surround yourself with people who make you uncomfortable in a good way. People who challenge you to think bigger, do better, and expect more from yourself. People who don't let you settle for less than you deserve, because the right people won't let you stay stuck. They'll push you, stretch you, and hold you accountable. And that kind of pressure, that's what creates diamonds. But here's the hard part. Upgrading your circle means leaving some people behind. And that's not easy. Some of them might be childhood friends, family members, or people you've known forever. And you'll feel guilty like you're being disloyal. But let me tell you something. Your loyalty should never come at the expense of your growth. If someone is holding you back, if they are draining your energy, if they don't support your vision, you owe it to yourself to distance yourself. It doesn't mean you have to cut people off with no explanation. It just means you have to reposition them in your life. Some people were meant to be in your past, not your future. Some people were only meant to be part of your journey for a season, not forever. And that's okay, because the people who are truly meant for you, they'll grow with you. They won't feel threatened by your success. They won't try to keep you small. They'll cheer for you even when they're not winning themselves. And those are the people you hold on to. Those are the ones who belong in your circle. So ask yourself, do the people around you reflect the future you want or the past you're trying to outgrow? Because if your circle isn't making you better, it's keeping you average. And you weren't made to be average. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every battle is meant to be fought. Not every argument needs a response. Some things are just distractions dressed up as obligations. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life drained, frustrated, and exhausted over things that don't even matter in the long run. That's why you have to protect your peace, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Peace isn't something that just happens. It's something you have to choose over and over again, because let's be real, life is full of chaos. People will test you. Situations will push your buttons. The world will throw all kind of stress in your direction. And if you go make a conscious decision to guard your peace, you'll find yourself reacting to everything, constantly on edge, letting outside forces control how you feel. That's no way to live. You ever notice how some people just seem to thrive in drama? They wake up looking for something to be mad about. They feed off negativity. They always have an issue, always have a complaint, always have something to argue about. And the moment you engage with them, you get pulled into that mess. Now, instead of focusing on your goals, your energy is tied up in pointless debates. Instead of enjoying your day, you're caught up in somebody else's problems. But here's the truth. Just because someone invites you to their chaos doesn't mean you have to accept the invitation. That's why setting boundaries is important. You've got to be okay with saying no. No to conversations that drain you. No to people who bring nothing but negativity. No to obligations that don't align with your peace. And no, that doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. Because when you constantly give your energy to the wrong things, you have nothing left for the things that actually matter. And sometimes the biggest threat to your peace isn't other people, it's you. It's the overthinking, the worrying, the stressing over things you can't control. How many times have you lost sleep replaying situations in your head, wondering what you could have said differently? How often do you let small things ruin your entire day? That's why protecting your peace isn't just about avoiding drama. It's about training your mind to let things go. Everything doesn't require reaction. Every problem isn't your problem to solve. Some things you just have to release and move on from. And let's talk about social media for a second, because in today's world, half of people's stress doesn't even come from their own lives. It comes from scrolling through other people's. Comparison, opinions, negativity, it's all right there, waiting for you to engage. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself anxious and frustrated over things that don't even involve you. That's why sometimes the best thing you can do for your peace is disconnect, unplug, take a break. because you don't have to consume everything the world throws at you. At the end of the day, your peace is your responsibility. You can't control what happens around you, but you can control what you allow into your space. And when you start prioritizing your peace, you'll realize something. Life gets better, you think clearer, you move differently, and most importantly, you stop letting things that don't matter steal your joy, because nothing is worth your peace of mind, nothing. The biggest gamble you will ever take is on your own potential. And the truth is, most people are too scared to place that bet. They hesitate, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect sign that guarantees success. But life doesn't work like that. There are no guarantees. There is no moment where everything aligns perfectly. The only real choice you have is to believe in yourself or not. And that's where most people get stuck. They talk themselves out of opportunities before they even try. They convince themselves they're not ready, not good enough, not talented enough. But let me ask you this. How do you know what you're capable of if you never even try? How do you expect to win if you never even step on the field? See, people bet on everything, sports teams, stocks, lottery tickets, other people's dreams. But when it comes to betting on themselves, they hesitate, they get scared. And why? Because betting on yourself means taking full responsibility for your success. It means you can't blame circumstances, luck, or other people. It means you have to face the possibility of failure. And failure, that's what scares people the most. But here's what they don't realize. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Nobody wins all the time. Nobody gets it right on the first try. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they can count. But the difference between them and everybody else, they kept going. They bet on themselves, even when they lost, even when people doubted them, even when it felt like nothing was working, because that's what it takes. If you're waiting for permission, if you're waiting for someone to come along and tell you, you got this, you'll be waiting forever. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you success. It's up to you to make the decision, take the risk, and put in the work. And let's be real. It's scary. Putting yourself out there, chasing a dream, stepping into the unknown, that takes courage. But what's the alternative? Staying in the same place, doing the same thing, watching other people live the life you wish you had? That's even scarier. At some point, you have to ask yourself, do you want to spend your life playing it safe, or do you want to take a chance on yourself? Do you want to live with the regret of never trying, or do you want to see just how far you can go? Because here's the truth. If you don't bet on yourself, no one else will. The world only believes in you after you've proven yourself. And the only way to prove yourself is to start. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop looking for guarantees. Place the bet, take the risk, show up for yourself, even when nobody else does. Because if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to keep pushing, keep believing, and keep moving forward, there is no limit to what you can achieve. If you accept less than you deserve, don't be surprised when that's all you ever get. Life will only give you what you're willing to fight for. Too many people settle not because they have to, but because they're afraid to demand more. They convince themselves that this is good enough, that they should be grateful for what they have, even if it doesn't make them happy. But deep down, they know they were meant for more. They know they're capable of bigger things. Yet instead of reaching for it, they shrink themselves. And why? Because settling is easy. Settling means you don't have to step outside your comfort zone. It means you don't have to risk rejection, failure, or disappointment. But here's the truth. Settling is just another word for giving up. It's choosing fear over faith. It's deciding that it's better to stay where it's safe than to take a chance on yourself. And that's exactly how people end up stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and lives that don't fulfill them. Think about it. When was the last time you truly felt excited about your life? When was the last time you woke up with purpose, with energy, with passion? If you can't remember, that's a sign you've been settling. Because when you settle, you stop growing, you stop challenging yourself, you stop dreaming big. And the worst part, the longer you settle, the harder it becomes to believe you even deserve more. But let's get something straight. You do deserve more. You deserve to wake up every day excited about your life. You deserve relationships that uplift you, opportunities that challenge you, and a future that makes you proud. And the only thing standing between you and that life is you. Because settling isn't just about what life gives you, it's about what you accept. It's about the standards you set for yourself. If you keep tolerating less, you'll keep getting less. If you keep allowing people to treat you poorly, they will. If you keep putting your dreams on hold, they'll stay there. The only way to change your life is to raise your standards, to stop accepting anything that doesn't align with the life you truly want. And yes, that's hard. Saying no to what's comfortable and familiar takes strength. Walking away from things that don't serve you takes courage. But think about the alternative. Do you really want to look back years from now and regret all the times you played it safe? Do you want to spend your life wondering what could have happened if you had just believed in yourself a little more? Because that's what settling does. It steals your potential. It keeps you small. It makes you forget who you really are and what you're capable of. But the moment you decide that good enough is no longer good enough, that's when everything changes. That's when you stop accepting what life hands you and start demanding what you deserve. So ask yourself, are you truly living or are you just accepting? Are you creating the life you want or are you settling for the one that's easier? Because at the end of the day, you are the only person who can decide what kind of life you will have. And if you want more, you have to stop settling for less. In life, there are going to be storms. There are going to be moments when you feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed. You're going to face setbacks that make you question everything, your purpose, your direction, your own strength. And in those moments when everything feels like it's falling apart, what are you holding on to? What's guiding you? Because if you don't have a foundation, if you don't have something bigger than yourself to rely on, the weight of this world will break you down. That's why you have to keep God or whatever higher power or belief you follow at the center of your life, because when everything else is uncertain, that foundation is what keeps you grounded. When people disappoint you, when opportunities don't work out, when life throws you curveballs you never saw coming, your faith is what reminds you that you are not alone, that there is a plan bigger than what you can see right now, that everything you're going through is shaping you for what's ahead. See, too many people try to do everything on their own. They think if they just work harder, push more, and figure it all out themselves, everything will come together. But no matter how strong, smart, or capable you are, there will always be things beyond your control. And that's where faith comes in. That's where trust comes in. Because when you truly believe that there is a purpose for your life, when you believe that every challenge, every delay, every hardship is preparing you for something greater, you stop letting fear and doubt run your life. But here's the thing. Faith isn't just about asking for blessings. It's not just about calling on God or your beliefs when you need something. It's about alignment. It's about making sure your actions, your mindset, and your decisions are rooted in something greater than yourself. It's about walking with purpose, knowing that you were created for more than just surviving day to day. Keeping God or your beliefs first means operating with integrity even when nobody's watching. It means trusting the process even when it doesn't make sense. It means making decisions based on faith, not fear. Because let's be real, life will test you. There will be times when giving up seems easier than pushing forward. But when you're connected to something bigger than yourself, when you're moving with a purpose greater than just success or money or approval, you become unstoppable. And let's talk about gratitude, because when you keep God first, when you stay rooted in your beliefs, you start seeing life differently. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you appreciate what you do have. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, you recognize what's going right. You stop living in constant worry and start trusting that everything is unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to. And that kind of peace, that kind of clarity, that's something no amount of money or success can buy. At the end of the day, you can chase all the success, fame, and wealth in the world, but if you don't have a strong foundation, if you don't have something to keep you grounded when life shakes you, you'll always feel empty. You'll always be searching for something to fill a void that only faith, purpose, and belief can truly feel. So before you chase the dream, before you run after the next big thing, make sure your foundation is solid. Make sure you're moving in alignment with something greater than just yourself. Because when you do that, you don't just build a successful life, you build a meaningful one. And that's worth more than anything this world can offer. At the end of the day, life is unpredictable. There will be highs and lows, wins and losses, moments of clarity and moments of confusion. But through it all, the one thing that will keep you steady is your foundation, your faith, your beliefs, your purpose. When you keep that first, everything else falls into place. So don't get so caught up in chasing success that you forget who's guiding you. Don't let the noise of the world drown out the voice that's been leading you all along. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, that every step, every struggle, every delay is part of something greater. Walk with faith, move with purpose, and remember, when you keep God first, there is nothing you cannot overcome.